Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 31st, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hopefully the day has treated you well. I know for me, it was a good day. We got up, got to work. Work was work, nothing too crazy. The usual Tuesday, I got to stay in the crusher, which we like. Post work, I went to the gym. Gym was actually very good. Got to hit all the equipment I wanted to hit. Got to do all the cardio I wanted to do. So that was great. And then we came home, had a stretch, had a snack, and looked at a good amount of news. We have a lot to cover for today. So yeah, we are going to go ahead and do our startup and get right into it. All right, our first story comes from the Associated Press. Israel's parliament approves the death penalty for Palestinians convicted of murdering Israelis. Israel's parliament on Monday passed a law approving the death penalty for Palestinians convicted of murdering Israelis, a measure that has been harshly condemned by the international community and rights groups as discriminatory and inhumane. The passage of the bill marked the culmination of a years-long drive by the far right to escalate punishment for Palestinians convicted of nationalistic killings or nationalistic offenses against Israelis. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu came to the Knesset to vote for the bill in person. The law makes the death penalty by hanging the default punishment for West Bank Palestinians convicted of nationalistic killings. It also gives Israeli courts the option of imposing the death penalty on Israeli citizens convicted on similar charges, language that legal experts say effectively confines those who can be sentenced to death to Palestinian citizens of Israel and excludes Jewish citizens. It will not apply retroactively to any prisoners Israel currently holds, including the Hamas-led militants who attacked the country on October 7th of 2023, triggering the Israel-Hamas war in the Gaza Strip. After the final 62-48 vote in favor, lawmakers erupted in cheers and stood up in jubilation. Netanyahu, who remained in his seat, did not immediately react or speak. It was very upsetting to kind of see clips, photos of people smiling, happy, excited, jubilantly crying over this. Because, killing more people like this is going to make Israel somehow better, safer. No, I can't fathom that. But also to see, Itamar Ben-Gvir just grinning ear to ear about this shit, with his new little signature pen thing on it. It's really macabre to me. I really did not want to spend a lot of time on the story, but it is important to talk about. So I definitely wanted to mention it. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next story. We're going to the States. We got a couple of stories coming out of SCOTUS, Supreme Court, Supreme Court of the United States. From the Associated Press, yet again. The birthright citizenship case at the Supreme Court hits close to home for this immigrant mother. Now, we're just going to skip the, more or less most of the story. A lot of the details here are getting skipped. I kind of just want to get to the meat of it. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments on Wednesday over whether Trump's order signed on January 20th of 2025 His first day back in office comports with the post-Civil War 14th Amendment and an 86-year-old federal law that has been widely understood to make citizens of everyone born in the country, with narrow exceptions for the children of foreign diplomats and invading armies. Every country to have, or every court to have considered the issue has found the order to be illegal and prevented it from taking effect. So, I mean, that being said, I would like to hope that the Supreme Court is going to go along with that and nothing is going to change. But there is a chance that they are receptive to this in some kind of, fashion, being that it is a, conservative supermajority. And that they might keep it in terms of the overall, structure, but change it and tweak it a bit, which sounds crazy to make conditions to, a birthright citizenship. Once again, it's crazy that we are talking common sense law and practices and policies here, but we are trying to do all of this legalese jujitsu to try to be like, hey, actually, no, even though if you were born here, you're not a legal citizen because your parents are legal citizens. Don't you no, it's just not how it should work. So yeah, that's where we are with that. The other Supreme Court case I wanted to talk about from Politico, Supreme Court strikes down conversion therapy ban, which this is one to me that it was so boggling that every time I read it, I'm like, dude, I feel like I got to read that twice. It just can't be like, no, surely you just shouldn't be doing this shit to kids, right? Like, no, it's actually back on. You're allowed. States can't ban so-called conversion therapy aimed at changing a minor's sexual orientation or gender identity. The Supreme Court has ruled. The justice ruled 8-1, which Ketanji Brown Jackson was the dissenter, which I was kind of surprised about. I mean, I know if I, pan back to it, I believe they actually had like Kagan and Mayor's actual opinions on it. But still, just to go all the way with it and be like, no, we're going to side with the conservatives just for our own reasons. Like, no, dude, yuck, what the fuck? Like, so it goes. Tuesday, that the First Amendment prohibits states from using their licensing power to limit the topics therapists and other professionals can discuss with their clients. The First Amendment stands as a shield against any effort to enforce orthodoxy in thought or speech in this country. Justice Neil Gorsuch, wrote for the court's majority. The ruling is a win for the Trump administration, which urged the court to declare that Colorado's ban violates free speech rights. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. There's more details here, but I just wanted to get the fact that this is a thing that happened, unfortunately. Yet we live in a situation where it's like, oh, if you wanted to get any kind of gender-affirming care for a minor, you couldn't do that. Like, this is the same Supreme Court that was like, no, we shut that down 6-3. So, it just kind of works the way that they want it to work, which is not new. That's not surprising, but it sucks to just see just so plainly, just so clearly. But yeah, we're going to move on. I feel like the rest of the stories are at least a bit lighter in tenor, or at least, I don't know, a bit more, we'll say decadent in terms of the coverage. But anyway, next story is from BBC. Air Canada CEO to retire after English-only condolence video controversy. Now, this really isn't a lighter one, I should say, because at the heart of it is obviously very sad and, something we talked about in a previous episode. The CEO of Air Canada will retire later this year after being criticized for failing to speak French in a condolence video following last week's fatal collision at LaGuardia Airport in New York that killed 2 pilots. Michael Rousseau informed the airline that he will be stepping down by the end of the company's third quarter. Air Canada said in a statement on Monday. Rousseau had faced calls to resign after delivering his condolences in English only. One of the pilots who died, Anton Forrest, was from French-speaking Quebec. He later apologized and said he was unable to express himself adequately in French, an official language in Canada, despite taking lessons over the years. Also, it's like, I kind of wanted to give this guy some slack, which is like, okay, crazy to give the CEO like, some fucking slack for what? But I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, and I'm like, I'm sure it's not easy to learn the language, You have other things you need to do, and is it that big of a deal? But then I stopped myself, and then I reminded myself, and I said, this is a fucking CEO. How much are you getting paid to do your fucking job? Essentially being a spearhead / cheerleader for your fucking company. You can just learn the damn language. It's not that hard. Parlez-vous some fucking français? He's like, no, bonjour. And not to mention, he had gotten called out about this before, and he's like, oh, I'm trying, I'm going to make a good effort, and he just never fucking did. So, like, when this happens, he's talking, and they have a French subtitle. And that was another thing. I'm like, so, I mean, you can read it, but, like, once again, just make the effort to just run both. Just say both of the things. Put a teleprompter up and just read off of it. Like, there's so many options here, and he just chose to be the laziest fuck about it. And, like, yeah, people died. And once again, I was like, okay, he'll tank this, whatever. But then I hear Mark Carney, the prime minister, is saying, hey, man, he said it showed a lack of compassion. Like, dude had to, like, come and actually report and was like, say, hey, I fucked up, my bad. So yeah, I feel like people were definitely upset. It definitely caused a bit of a row. So yeah, I guess you could say a bummer for this guy, but not really, because he, this is kind of his second strike on this shit. He was, I think, called out in like, I think towards the beginning of his career as CEO here, and he just was like, "Oh yeah, my bad. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna make an effort." And then he just didn't really hunker down, I guess, on the French. And so it goes. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. We're supposed to be going to Barbie Dream Fest, but this is more of a Barbie Dream Nightmare. Anyway. Also, here's a bit of breaking news. Tiger Woods says he will seek treatment after DUI arrest. Now, he had issued a statement here. This has been an aside. I'm just kind of freestyling this. Essentially saying, like, hey, I'm going to step away from the game, because it was, like, kind of rumored, like, hey, you were playing before, you're going to make, like, a PGA Tour run, da-da-da. No, he's not. He's going to rehab, AKA, he is getting ahead of the fucking case. Which makes sense. He had to go do, I think, the urinalysis test or something to that effect, right? I don't know. I'm not really in the details there. But, yeah, looks like, he's going to rehab, and he's on the second wave of this, second arc of this redemption arc for old Tiger Woods. But anyway, I'll leave that there. Anyway, let me take a water break. I'm very fucking thirsty. Okay, now we'll start reading this, and I think you'll know exactly why this was like, the story was my speed. From NBC News. Barbie's Dreamfest, more like a nightmare warehouse. Event attendees say. I should have just let them say it. They actually cook there. They were promised a larger-than-life interactive Barbie dream house, an 80s themed roller skating park, and a glittery pink day in Barbie Land. Instead, fans of the world's most popular doll, who trekked to the Barbie Dreamfest in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, were met with a cardboard cutout of the idyllic house and a tiny kids-only roller rink, a far cry from what was advertised on Instagram. The event took place from Friday to Sunday at the Broward County Convention Center. In promotional posts on Instagram, it touted a Barbie fashion show, A-list speakers, meet and greets, workshops, interactive exhibits, games, screenings, yoga, and more. Adult ticket prices range from a $69 day pass to the $449 Dream Pass, with other pricing and accessibility options in between. But two attendees who spoke to NBC News said they were sorely disappointed with the lack of pink, glitter, and excitement that they said was expected, especially for the prices they paid to get in. It just makes me laugh because if I don't laugh, I'll cry, said Brianna Miller, who was among the many attendees who posted videos online about the event. As images of the videos began to circulate online, people began drawing comparisons to the overpromised, underdelivered festivals online. Like 2017's fraudulent Fire Festival, and the more recent disastrous Willy Wonka-inspired experience in Glasgow, Scotland, which I believe was in 2024. Now, between those two, this is way more like the Willy Wonka-inspired Glasgow thing, the Willy Wonka nightmare, which is crazy, with the famed Oompa Loompa lady, and everyone looks sad and look weird, very awkward scenario. I don't feel like this is a Fire Festival event. You are not on a rocky, like, island with a tomato in a tray left to fend for yourself. I think it could be worse. But that being said, I think when you really get into the details, it's like, damn, this is pretty fucked. Especially for the people who traveled all the way to fucking Florida from wherever, and they were paying with, like, on the fucking Dream Pass bullshit. And that's what you got. You got a thing that wasn't even a full-ass warehouse. Like, there's cardboard cutouts, like, okay, there's Serena Williams, but you gotta pay extra for it. Like, what? Like, huh? But I'll try to read a little bit more. The fan disappointment was echoed in the community dedicated to Barbie on Reddit, where many called out the organizers for such a chaotic event. They really should give everyone I survived Barbie Nightmare Fest stickers, one Reddit user wrote, later adding, we got Wonka'd, which is fair. A spokesperson for Mattel, Barbie's parent company, said the event was created by Mischief Management, which licensed the Barbie brand from Mattel. And I think this is very key here, because if you see or hear that there was any kind of like Mattel branding here, then you're buying everything you're sold online. The whole deliverable you're going to eat up. And you're like, okay, yeah, like this seems cool. This seems great. Especially, once again, you're seeing this on Instagram, whatever. And then you go, and it's nowhere near that. And at some point, they say, okay, we're not actually a part of this. Like, we didn't get any money for this shit. No, we're out. Hold on, let me read a little bit more. We are working with Mischief Management, who are managing attendance feedback and issuing full refunds to everyone who purchased tickets, the spokesperson said. We want every fan experience to be an excellent one. Let's see here. Mischief Management confirmed in a statement that the company will be providing full refunds to everyone who purchased tickets to the event. Misfit Toys Communications, which helped announce the event in conjunction with Mattel and Mischief Management, sent an email that the company terminated its contract with the event producers in October due to lack of payment and are concerned that the event was not shaping up to be what was originally described. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of anecdotal stories. I think there was one where like a kid wanted to like go and like ride a bike, and like when they got there wasn't a bike for them, and they had to let everyone else ride because they were like too tall or too big, something like that. Like, that's sad. That's a bummer. Stories of adults who thought like, hey, I was sold, like, there's picture of people like skating and stuff in the promotional, and you only have kid skates. Like what the fucking, like, what the hell? So yeah, many such cases, it seems. And I don't know, I was kind of rolling this around in my head, and I'm like, is there any way, from what I was just seeing from the pictures, that you could have made this event worked? Because there's no way in hell that like this Mischief Management company was like, oh my God, we're just so overwhelmed. They knew what they were doing, and they were trying to get away with it. So like, I'm like, what could have been a price for this wacky ass, wonky ass bullshit? It also is worth noting too that like like a lot of this was kind of like, off flash, no gas, but there was like a couple of booths that actually did like do some like really cool stuff for like, people like making like banners and like little like frames and things like that. Photo stuff. Like, okay, it's like if you had more events and more booths like that. And also if you had filled the whole event space. So like, let me actually pause it. Let's say we actually want to charge full price, get away with it. How do you do this in the right way? You fill up the whole convention hall like it should be with actual events. And you actually run it in a way where it's like, hey, you paid VIP, you get some kind of VIP access with lines and stuff like that. And it's not all jumbled, it's not all extra. There's also stories here of people saying, "Hey, you're charging me at this, like at the gate, on the day stuff. Okay, I have to pay, and you don't even check my shit." So, like, once again, organization would have been another key factor here. So I think if you literally just fill up the event and you just deliver on some of this shit, and then you can say, hey, maybe some of the things kind of fell out of the wash, even though there's so many fuck ups in this too, where it's like, hey, I wanted to go buy a doll, an overpriced fucking doll on the day, or this like old poster from 2024, or whenever the Barbie movie came out, and it's like, hey, I'll take whatever I can get here. We ran out, sorry. So like, once again, just really bad prep. But okay, say you see the event, you see what you have, you look at your resources, you see how limited they are, and you're not going to spring any more money. Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to get mischievous about it. How do you make this price point work then? Because $449 is crazy. $70 is crazy on a day. Like, holy shit, dude. Maybe half of it, maybe even half. But I really think I'm fooling myself. I think I'm becoming a con man if I'm actually trying to sell people on this shit. You got a cardboard cut out of a house. You couldn't even build the house. It would have been actually kind of cool to have the house, So, yeah, this definitely, it does seem like a real fucking dream crush. I can't imagine being a kid and you hop in the car, you hop in a plane with the TSA lines the way they are. Also, worth noting, speaking of TSA, they did get paid, the Trump shit. But, still Congress is gridlocked. They ain't saw shit. But, at least they got a little bit of pay there, but who knows about the next check? I'll keep you posted there. But yeah, you went through all this fucking shit. And you come to this fucking fever dream scam of a Barbie world, Barbie land. Yeah, that would be, that's something I'm telling my therapist one day. I'm definitely getting some better help about that. Okay, I'm sure I could go on. There's a lot of details here. I kind of just, hop, spin, twirled, and we're going to sashay away. Let's go ahead and hit our last story. And this is the pure decadence. This is the story that I really don't even have to tell. It's tabloid shit. It's like page 6 stuff or whatever. I don't know. Do politicians go on page 6? I don't know. I haven't read a newspaper in a really long time. I know. Isn't that a bad confessional? I've all that and the whole thing. And look at me. I'm a scammer. What? Are we journalists? Are we newsies? Yes. Yes, we are. Roll call's coming up tomorrow. Sign up now. Patreon. Patreon.com/News. Sorry. We're hitting the save point. Taking a little bit of respite. We're going to have our last break. And then we got to talk about the Noems. We got to talk about Christy and Bryon Noem. We got to talk about the bimbofacation of Bryon Noem. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do enjoy it. I'm not going to lie to you. I won't lie to you. Okie dokie. Oh, all right. Where is this from? Really, Wealth of Geeks. I really just want to say I got this from Yahoo News, but whatever. Kristi Noem's marriage was already Washington's most public unraveling. Then the Daily Mail published photos of her husband. Now, we could just cover half of the story, but I really want to read as much of this as I can before I just want to tap out. So here we go. Long before the Daily Mail published its investigation on Tuesday, the Noem marriage was in trouble in plain sight. That's a yummy sentence. Thank you, Wealth of Geeks. Bryon Noem had spent months as the silent figure in... Sorry. Bryon Noem had spent months as the silent figure in his wife's cascading public scandals, standing behind former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem during a March 4th House Judiciary Committee hearing where she was asked directly whether she had sexual relations with close advisor Corey Lewandowski. She called the question insane and tabloid garbage. She did not say no. Sources told the New York Post that the non-answer was the final catalyst behind President Trump's decision to remove her from the DHS post. She was reassigned as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. Weeks before that hearing, Bryon's own relatives had spoken to the Post on the record. They said they believed it was his religious calling to support Christie regardless of what she did, and that the Lewandowski situation had left him humiliated. One family member was blunt about what came next. We will see if he sticks with her now. That was the state of things before Tuesday morning. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. Like, these are people's lives. These are people's sordid lives. And like, but it's like, no, like, we're talking about deportation Barbie here and her, her so-called MAGA conservative husband, who we're about to get into. So what changed on Tuesday? The Daily Mail published an investigation by reporters Josh Boswell and Ben Ashford, alleging that Bryon Noem, 56, had been secretly cross-dressing and paying fetish models for explicit online conversations. The newspaper published photos it identified as Bryon. Is it Bryon? It's Bryon. I'm going to say Bryon, but they're spelling it all funky. It's Bryon. We're going to say Bryon. Posing in fake breasts and hot pants. And they are bigums. I'm sorry. It must be said. I could not post that in the thumbnail, but they are. You can go look them motherfuckers up. He's got the cannons and hot pants. And said it had reviewed hundreds of messages between him and 3 women involved in a subculture known as bimbofacation. Let's see. According to the Daily Mail, Bryon made little effort to hide his identity, providing his phone number with a voicemail that identified his business. Did he leave a calling card? The newspaper reported he made thousands of dollars in payments to adult entertainers. No other outlet has independently verified the photos, the messages, or the payments. When the Daily Mail contacted Bryon, he disputed claims that he made disparaging comments about his 34-year marriage. He did not, according to the newspaper, deny the photos or the messages. I love how they are alluding that, like, hey, what he didn't say, what they didn't say, okay? The omission is important. One detail in the report landed harder than the rest. According to the Daily Mail, a fetish model asked Bryon about the Lewandowski affair rumors. His alleged response, "I know, there's nothing I can do about it." I mean, plus, who cares? You're doing your own thing. And like, okay, this is where I want to pause, and I want to put my speculation hat on, right? We want to get a little sordid. We're going to get a little dirty here. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Maybe this explains it a little bit better. Why it was just like he was on the plane, I think, sometimes, or he's involved, like he knows about what the fuck's going on, right? And like, you know what I mean? So I don't think anyone is really surprised here. I know that we're going to pan down later and we're going to say, apparently Christy Noem is so blindsided, I think is what she says. No, I highly doubt that. Of course, speculative, but like, I think everything was maybe a bit heads up here. And that explains a little bit more why this was just something that they were more out and out about. Because everyone knew, like, this was a very out and out, like an out secret that they were working together. They were really working together. And it's like, is this all on the up? Is this all okay? And I guess so. He's got his own thing. He's got his own fingers in some other pies, okay? Or fingers in his pie. I don't know. Hey, whatever. And this is important for me. I am fine for anyone doing whatever the fuck you want. You want to get bimbified? By all means, go for it. You want to switch it up? Do it up? All right. Make it nasty. Have fun. The problem here is you have, once again, this like quote unquote, MAGA conservative super couple who would decry any of this shit out in public. But then you have one, this doesn't seem very Christian values is what I'm getting at, right? This doesn't seem very, MAGA coded. But then, I mean, hey, look at our president, look at our president. Look at our orange king, God, emperor man, he does what he wants. They do what they want. And it's all good. Everyone kind of finds a way to circle the square. I don't know. But anyway, we'll keep reading a little bit more. Her representatives issued a statement to the New York Post. Miss Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. Dude, bless up. Can we please pray? Let us pray, dude. It's crazy. First Drewski came for Erica Kirk, and now this. Like, Satan is just moving. He won't stop. Lord. Okay. I don't give a shit about the rest of this. I'm not gonna, I don't care. Yeah, the rest of it's blah blah. It's all like, Piers Morgan, what the fuck? Fuck you, Piers Morgan. I don't know. I shouldn't have to read dumb shit Piers Morgan has to say. Maybe he'll interview, that would be cool. He should interview the Gnomes together. That'd be fun. That'd be neat. No, that's it. That's all I have for today, man. We got it all in. I feel like that was a decent amount of time. Thank you. Yeah, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, like I said, roll call's coming up tomorrow. Shout you out, plug a project, things like that. We do that on the roll call for tomorrow, once a month. You get access to, some bonus stuff, yada, yada, yada. It's a tip jar, let me cut the shit. It's just a tippy jar, and I appreciate that, it does me a lot. I appreciate the people who have been down in the newsies for life. I appreciate y'all awesome. But yes, free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcast. If you don't do any of that, that's okay. I appreciate you just kicking it with me. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the homies who hit me up and say, dude, congratulations, for like your accomplishments, for your goals, for your life, for your love. I appreciate all you guys for just really tuning in and really giving a fuck. That alone means the world. So thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.